Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. We the gods of the gate, so when they say they fear God, now you know what they make.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with perky, now that hair on them is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the stirrup. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost see, I glossed to we shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the feds, giving names. Who gon' feed my family if they take me out the game? Keep one in the head and one eye open, that ain't change. I'm quick to catch a body. When I shoot, he shoot, I know bro shooting right beside me. Them hollow tips go through the wall and then they hit his body.
Niggas died 1865. Yeah. Hey man, all I'm saying is, nigga, you always got something to say. It's like you don't shut up.
On the track.
A lot of niggas died 1865. Single Michael fled high, I ain't gon' let it ride. Everybody hollering black was never on your side. They do maps to tell your apps where you sleep at night. They put that white man on. Got you begging them for answers like that white man know. Had you swearing you was African, that's that white man home. Had you proud to be a savage, that's that white man zone. And I ain't talking shit, this by definition. And being savage was our nature, y'all be non-existent. We done took your ass out when we was in them kitchens. Instead of showing you how to live and how to maintain business. White supremacy fake. Only way that shit real is if you do what they say. So dope, my eyes low. When you move like God, the time slow. I came back for the blacks and John Doe's. Crack open them land patents, let go of them townhomes. What's a native to a native? He $5 dough if he not melanated. Pale faces got you waiting on a savior. Sending prayers up, he texting back on vacation. Yeah, God's children. Give all your praise to Jesus, but how God feeling? He say put no one before him in divine image. It's true with God of Christians. I got a vision, but niggas ain't gotta listen, so they don't. We came from the soil, wasn't fucking with no boats. Bible took our spirit, English potted on our homes. Tribal families turned on us, don't act like y'all don't know. But fuck them and they grudges. We was something turned to nothing. And now we nothing's turned to something. Reincarnation of ancients, fresh up out the oven. This the message to the black man. 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 Shooters on my roof, lawyers in the coop. We can never die, bitch, we bulletproof. This the message to the black man. This the message to the black man. Say you wasn't slaves, you was prisoners of war. You stop wasting your time, these other bitches ain't important. You ain't meditating, you ain't mating with the source. Like what the fuck's a noodle if you ain't painted with the sauce? I find it hard to trust the pastor who rather side with the master, who preaching we should submit while getting murdered and captured. About how we should wait on God is never our vernacular. They get
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. Alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all of my blood, all of my veins. They started with Perky, now that hair right now is veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, you been making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid. Yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed to it, shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the
Yo, man. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the building, man. It's your brother, Big Aboriginal Power, man. How y'all feeling this grand rising? Y'all good? How y'all feeling? We trying to lock it in. Shout out to everybody in the motherfucking building, man. Y'all already know the fucking vibes. It's your brother, Big Ab, man. Y'all already know what's up. Can I get y'all to drop some fire emojis in the chat? And can I get y'all to share the live stream, man? I want to shout out to everybody that's taking their time out to come rock with me this grand rising. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Nigga a little tired, a little traveling yesterday. Shout out to everybody in the building, though, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, support the channel, man. It's very important for you guys to share the live stream and to support the channel, man. Man, I want to shout out to everybody in the building. Shout out to all the 56 people that's in here right now that's not able to comment. I know a lot of people ain't able to comment, but you know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all be safe on your daily routine, your daily commute, your daily travels, man. Peace and blessings to y'all. I am also going to take the time out to shout out some of my brothers and sisters in the chat, man, that took their time out to shout out in the chat. So let me take the time out to shout out y'all. Shout out to General Peace, Big Dog, Philly OG, UNI1, Sister fucking Bethy, man. Let me give a special shout out to Sister Bethy, man. We went down, supported Sister Bethy on her powwow. It was a great event, beautiful event. All you can eat fish, chicken. Her land is beautiful. 17 acres, 17 and a half acres, excuse me. A lot of land, very beautiful. I'm very proud of Sister Bethy for putting in a lot of work. We've seen a lot of her growth. I remember before she even had a channel, she was just coming on the panels and platforms. A1, me and Chiefs. Shout out to Sister Bethy. It's been a lot of growth. You came a long way. Peace and blessings to you. I want to shout out to $1 Billion Baby as well. Shout out to Eastside 1415, Pap G's, True Food, Lil Zan, Lil RNX. Shout out to Lorello Rael. Shout out to Jaguar Clout, Krista Jamie Mack. Shout out to Son of California. Shout out to my boy Big Willie in the building, okay? Original Intellect in the motherfucking building. Charles Alston. Who else we got? A Tonsionist. goddess. We got a Tonginist Amu-Rica of America. We got the realest N-word alive. We got Shamel Thomas in the building. We got Don't Do It in the building. Martin McClennan. We got Darius Matthews, Trap Moses, and Diesel Debunker. Shout out to Diesel Debunker, man. Shout out to Diesel Debunker, man. Shout out to everybody in the fucking chat, man. Y'all know the vibes. Who else? I ain't missing nobody there. Let me run it up a little bit. Snake Guy, what up? Shy Alpha, what up? Enox, what up? Jay Fizzle, what up? Pop Reed. Make sure y'all show some love to the elder in the chat. Shout out to Wilmore Reed in the building, man. Who else we ain't forget? Chief Jonesy, my big sister, Chick Homedy Roots, man. Make sure y'all go support my sister, Chick Homedy Roots, man. If y'all need a dream catcher or something, man, make sure y'all go support that. It's 11/11, man. You already know it's the time to manifest. Put that shit in the air. Put that shit in the atmosphere. For those that's on the East Coast, it's 11/11. Put that shit in the atmosphere to rain back down on you. Manifest your thoughts and the things that you want done this week or this month. All right. Shout out to Billionaire Smile, Indigenous Minds, Cotton Picking POW. Shout out to my boy, Cool Face. Man, we lit in the building, man. Shout out to everybody. Y'all know I was supposed to do the pay-per-view this week, this yesterday, but it's been a change of plans. So for those that donated, just hold on. We will be sending you the link to the email to the up-and-coming pay-per-view that is taking place this up-and-coming Sunday. This Sunday coming up. All right, I need y'all to support the channel. It's very, very, very important for you guys to support the channel. So this up-and-coming Sunday, which is the 7th. Right, so on the 7th of this month, we will be doing the pay-per-view, the American Gods, me and the Tonginist one, Jaguar Omek, and a special guest. So make sure y'all support that, man. Links to all that will be in the description at the end of the video. Matter of fact, I need to go and put that shit in there now. I'm bullshitting. Let me go and get in there now. Shout out to everybody in the building. Can I get some people to drop some fire emojis? Drop them fire emojis, man. Make sure y'all come support the channel. Make sure y'all come support the channel, man. All right, let me put all this information in the description box real quick. So all the information to Cash App and to the pay-per-view will be in the description box. It will be in the description box. So make sure y'all tap in, come support that. Man, we got a hell of a movement going on. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. It's a beautiful thing going on. All links to the to the PayPal, all the information you'll need to get the pay-per-view is in the description box right now, man. I want to say peace and blessings, man. How the fuck y'all feeling, man? This is the Wake and Bake show. I ain't seen y'all niggas in a minute. Nigga tired. Nigga been on the road and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I got some heat lined up for y'all. About hit me later. Trying to send that back. Trying to send that back to you. Send what back to me? What you trying to send back to me, gang? What you trying to send out to me, gang? Oof. Damn, that motherfucker about to hit my lungs. Oof. Says the Wake and Bake show, man. Let me know where y'all at and what y'all smoking on this Grand Riding. What y'all smoking on? Shout out to Big Chief Noble in the building. Marcus Norcetta, what's up with it? Who else we got in here? Make sure I ain't forgetting nobody. I don't want to forget nobody. Can I have everybody to drop a fire emoji in the chat, man? If you ain't supporting the channel, Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen. We ain't gonna wait too long, man. I got a nice bill lined up for y'all guys. Before I even get into that, I want to make sure y'all good. The pay-per-view will be reset to this up and coming Sunday, August the 7th. Okay, August the 7th. All right. So make sure y'all support the channel. Tunis Bay. Word up, G Moore's in the building. What's up? What's up, Tunis Bay? And Jones, what's up with it? All right, man. I ain't even gonna hold y'all niggas up any longer, man. Let's get right into the sauce that I got lined up, man. You already know we lining it up right now. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Shout out to hey, shout out to my nigga Don't Do It. He said, hey, for we need 80 days straight, 78 more to go. Damn, 78 more to go. Nigga, I done gave y'all down there a 60 piece. You know what I mean? Nigga done gave y'all about a good, I don't know, 30-something bills, but I had to take a break for the vacation and go support Sister Betty. So I guess that ended. We're gonna try to hit y'all with another 30 day, man. But in order for y'all to get another 30, man, y'all gotta support the channel, man. Y'all really gotta support the channel, man. It's very important. It would be cool if I was monetized through YouTube. I don't even get monetized. They fuck with your boy right now. So we need everybody to support the brand, support the channel, man, support the platform, man. You know the South is here. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Y'all dropping y'all cities. Kentucky in the building. Kentucky in the motherfucking building. Denver in the building. New England in the motherfucking building. Where we at with it? That's it. We ain't got nobody else in the chat. That's shouting out their city and state. That's fine. Shout out to Arizona in the building. Connecticut, man, in the building, man. Shout out to Sister Betty in the building, man. Connecticut in the building. Glad y'all made it home safe. Shout out to Martin McClennan in the building. Miami in the fucking building. Dallas. Man, come on, man. We lit. It's a fucking movie. It's a fucking movie, y'all. Y'all already know the vibes, man. We coming with full force with this shit, man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. It's your brother Big Al. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all ready for if y'all ready for the live stream, the build I got lined up. Drop them fire emojis. Philly in the building. Man, what you know about that? Pap G's, where you at in Philly, gang? Where you at in Philly, gang? I need to know all my Philly niggas. Anybody in Philly, drop them Phillies in here, man. You on Clubhouse now? Yeah, we do Clubhouse. We do Clubhouse right now. We're live streaming on 3 different platforms right now. We on Twitch and Twitter right now. So make sure y'all go follow me on Twitch. Who else we got in here? DMV, Oklahoma, Cali, Kalamazoo, Michigan, Fort Lauderdale, GA, New York, Michigan, Hartford. What up, though? Okay. We lit, man. Y'all ready for the live, man? Drop them fire emojis, man. Let's get right into it. I don't even want to hold y'all up any longer, man. Let's get right into it, man. Let's go.
You do not have to believe the information that has been lost to mankind. I think because you do not have to believe the information in this.
Hey, let me shout out to the guy who makes these videos. Shout out to my brother Unveil Mind. I don't know who you is, brother. I love your channel. Your information is very interesting, and I like to piggyback and insert my own information on top of the information that you're providing. Shout out to Mind Unveil, man. He commented on one of my last live streams, man. Shout out to Mind Unveil. Tap in, man. I would like to get the brother on the panel so we can chop it up with him. Get a few questions from him. Shout out to everybody.
This video.
My bad, y'all. I thought y'all could hear the shit. I'm fucking slacking, y'all.
Rise, why have we not heard more of the true boundaries of a race, all my brothers and sisters, regardless of skin color, that we may see past the boundaries of a race or ratios, where we all share the same life, that is light. We have been fed lies in order to keep one thing consistent: identity crisis. This was by design. Otherwise, why have we not heard more of the true origin of the name of California? It's named after a magnificent black Moorish queen. By Moor, I mean indigenous enlightened melanated peoples. I don't think our current culture can truly understand how enlightened the indigenous races of these lands were. The prevailing American culture in the youth today revolves around demeaning women, money, and the lust for power. Our ancestors would not only be embarrassed, but disappointed in how lost we have become. Specifically, the indigenous Moors inhabiting what was left of Mu, or what is known in the Spanish legend as the island of California, were known for their grand psychic abilities. The females ruled as their psychic and mental abilities were far superior than the males. They were master shamans as they could navigate between realms at will, something our modern culture can't even begin to comprehend. The closest topics that we have is dreams, astral projection, but these concepts still don't fully explain to the modern mind the full dynamic of what these ancient lands were like. We can imagine it, but we prescribe that to the realm of fantasy. How do we know this? Well, this tale comes from a Spanish fantasy novel from the 1500s from our modern mainstream timeline, Las Sergas de Esplandian by Montalvo. It is said to be ancient legends, and most people at the time even believed it to be true. Here's what mainstream history says. The Adventures of Esplandian is the fifth book in a series of Spanish chivalric romance novels by Garcia Rodriguez de Montalvo, which began with Amadis de Gaula, an even older series. Even Hernán Cortés, who would conquer the Aztec Empire and name the state of California, believed in their legends.
Now let's look at my boy Cortez. Don't this nigga look mixed or something, like a Negro they trying to hide low key? Cortez definitely a Negro. Cortez a Negro. That's my brother name too that passed away, my older brother. His name Cortez. That's a nigga name, man. You understand?
Who would conquer the Aztec Empire and name the state of California, believed in their legends. I want you to pay attention to this symbol as it will be important later. Bernal Diaz says, quote, "We were seized with admiration and declared they seemed like the castles of enchantment recorded in the book of Amadis de Gaula, grand towers, temples, and edifices that seemed to rise from the water. And all these were constructed of stone and mortar. Some of our soldiers said they could not be sure whether they were really seeing this or were dreaming." Now, I have to start this off as if you've never watched a video on this channel. However, there are more videos on the channel that break down the lie of history if you wish to see it explained further. This is more of a sequel to the understanding that our entire history is a lie. Many have heard of the theory of Tartaria by now, but in short, the history we are fed in the education systems are a falsity. A lie designed to keep us enslaved, enslavement through identification crisis. They have taught us to identify ourselves with monkeys, that all human beings originate from Africa.
And let's keep it real. They've been trying to kill us through the identity crisis since the beginning. That's been our whole downfall, is the not knowing who we are. That's the true knowledge of power. Knowledge and power of power is knowing yourself, knowing your origin, knowing what you can do, knowing your abilities. You think our ancestors were just these mystic magic motherfuckers who had powers? Yes. That doesn't mean that you don't have it. They have decalcified your understanding in who you are. This is very important for us to understand this. They have been attacking our lineage. They've been attacking our history. They have been attacking our structures, so we don't know rightfully who we are. And this is why it becomes a mystery or my story. Right? Let's continue the live, man. If y'all enjoying it, drop a fire emoji in the chat.
A lie designed to keep us enslaved. Enslavement through identification crisis. They have taught us to identify ourselves with monkeys, that all human beings originate from Africa, that we evolve through fear and survival, as our consciousness mysteriously forms through some type of physical means. The origin that we are given, of course, is but a random explosion of nothing. They then give us false, soulless history. But many of us know that there's something more. Deep in our subconscious, we know the stories of Atlantis and advanced ancient civilizations. It's a part of our collective memory. We are taught that we...
It's a part of our collective subconscious memory because a lot of this shit been erased. We don't know. We still try to put together shit from the 1800s. Shout out to my brother Don't Do It, man, for supporting the channel. Like I said, shout out to Don't Do It for supporting the $2 challenge. Make sure y'all support the challenge, man. Don't let Don't Do It be the only one support the channel. The $2 challenge is still in effect, so make sure y'all support the channel, man. We on like 30, I don't know how many days we done came consistently. You feel me? I even get y'all live out of town, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure y'all support the channel. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Shout out to all the American Aborigines in the building, man. Let's continue.
We had a linear progress of evolution when the truth of the matter is that but many of us know that there's something more. Deep in our subconscious, we know the stories of Atlantis and advanced ancient civilizations. It's a part of our collective memory. We are taught that we had a linear progress of evolution when the truth of the matter is that there have been multiple cataclysms in the past. We know of this too. Everyone knows of the story of the flood. It is the most known story in the world. That kind of trauma would never go away within our psyches. Yet, that would mean that we de-evolve, that we were once great nations who had achieved peace and saw past the boundaries of race, ratios. We developed advanced spiritual practices and had truly reached the golden age. Many technologies existed that would be hard for the modern man to imagine possible. In this day, we have lost our sovereignty, our minds, our sense of divinity. We have been fed materialism from our birth. The spirit in many of our people are dwindling, but this is the age of awakening. In the official timeline that they give us, the fall of Rome is 2,000 years ago. It's very difficult.
Keep it 1,000 while I got my family here. And like I tell y'all, I don't just be telling y'all that just to tell y'all, but y'all some of the smartest people I've ever seen in this chat, man. The Aboriginal Power, the Aboriginals, man, y'all some smart MFers, man. Y'all are some brilliant SOBs, man. No offense. Y'all smart as fuck. So I just want y'all to know, do this shit look like Rome or did this shit look like some shit in America that they destroyed in the World's Fair? Now ask me that. Ask me that. Do this look like Rome or this look like some shit that you would see in Chicago, Philadelphia, St. Louis, San Francisco, San Antonio? Come on, man. They can't trick us. They can't fucking trick us. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. The $2 channel is still in effect. Let's get at least 50 people to support the channel, man. Let's get at least 50 people to support the channel. Shout out to Obi-Wan Kenobi. Unblock me, scary. Boy, your ass is unblocked, you little stupid ass African. How the fuck you think I'm reading your comment, you idiot? You gotta use that damn thing on your shoulder. Stop using it for a hat rack. You know it got a brain inside of it, right? Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's continue the live stream.
A short segment to fully explain everything, especially the timeline. But the way I would put it is that these ancient architectures that we call Greco-Roman are actually from Atlantis. And Atlantis is likely not 13,000 years ago as Graham Hancock.
I need y'all to pay very close attention to what my man has said. Now, let's get it. Zelly the Don, your profile.
People are dwindling, but this is the age of awakening. In the official timeline that they give us, the fall of Rome is 2,000 years ago. It's very difficult in a short segment to fully explain everything, especially the timeline. But the way I would put it is that these ancient architectures that we call Greco-Roman are actually from Atlantis. And Atlantis is likely not 13,000 years ago as Graham Hancock suggests. Remember, he believes that we came from monkeys. Atlantis is of a much more recent time, and what was part of what we now know as America. It's hard to comprehend the nature of this reality, and shocking to realize the drastic measures that have taken place in such a short period of time. Many scholars in the modern day have tried to create a new timeline, such as Fomenko and Isaac Newton. The origin of our modern timeline comes from a man named Scaliger. This is where we get our mainstream timeline, but many debate that this is a falsity created by a specific religious group. This group falsified history in order to make it seem as if they have the most ancient religion. The first hint that we see to this is Origen versus Celsus, in which Origen argues for the antiquity of the Jews. It's obvious out of this piece that Origen is purposely concealing the secret history of the Hyperboreans. Now, another piece of the puzzle that you need to understand is the Phoenicians. Very important. In our administered history, they date the Phoenicians to about 5,000 years ago, but this group is actually of a much more recent time.
Hey, man, I want y'all to pay very close attention to what's going on, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Like I said, shout out to my boy Iman Unveiled, man. That's who put together these videos, provoking interesting thought. So, man, shout out to him, man. He commented on one of my videos. I really like to get the brother on here. I have a set of questions that maybe I can lay out some information, see if he concur with it. Shout out to my brother Jaguar Omet. Like I said, the pay-per-view that was supposed to go down yesterday is going down this Sunday on August the 7th. Me, Aboriginal Power, Jaguar Omet, untouching this one, and I believe we're going to have a special guest as well on that panel. Make sure y'all support that, man. If y'all want to buy the pay-per-view, link is in the description to all the information you need to get that, to inquire the link. So go check that out. It's in the description box right now at the video. Make sure y'all go check that out. Shout out to everybody in the building. This is the Wake and Bake Show. This is the Wake and Bake Show. Let me know what y'all smoking on, what city, what state y'all in. We ain't even got started yet. We just now getting cracking.
It's obvious out of this piece that Origen is purposely concealing the secret history of the Hyperboreans. Now, another piece of the puzzle that you need to understand is the Phoenicians. Very important. In our administered history, they date the Phoenicians to about 5,000 years ago, but this group is actually of a much more recent time. Earlier, I mentioned to pay attention to the symbol with Hernan Cortez. You will see these types of symbols everywhere, on the only remaining maps, famous characters that we are fed such as Scaliger. This symbol is the secret symbol for the hidden new rulers, the Headless Knight. The Phoenicians dominated from the eastern Mediterranean to the coast of Africa, all the way to Spain and Northern Ireland.
Hey, let me tell y'all something about the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians was the first niggas to start plagiarizing shit. See, y'all hear about all these Phoenician this and Phoenician that. Phoenicians was the first people to come and start copy plagiarizing. They was copiers. They was like Chinese people. You know, Jordan make Jordans, and then you might see some fake Jordans. That was the same way. And it got to the point where they was very good at it, and you couldn't tell a copy from their original. That's how good they became. Shout out to my brother Paul Chandler for supporting the Cash App donation. Shout out to Paul Chandler, and shout out to Dre Cobb's Music. I want to give a shout out to Dre Cobb's Music and Paul Chandler for supporting the channel, sending in the Cash App donation. We really appreciate all the support. You know what I mean? Shout out to y'all. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. It's very, very important for you guys to support the channel. You feel me? Big Ab come with them fire bills. And like I said, a lot of my channel not monetized. So, you know, this all off the love. Whatever y'all donate, that's what we receive for my time. So shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all be safe, man. Wipe your hands off too, man. That monkeypox going around heavy.
History.
Wipe your hands.
The confusing part about all this is that history mixes the group that survived and took over the world, the Catholic Jesuits, with the ancient races that once existed in these lands. These were mixed cultures. The cultures that existed arose from the two ancient god races, the ancient Hyperboreans and the ancient Lemurians. There are obviously more layers to this, so I'll try and explain.
Yeah,
hey, if you're a restaurant owner and
it's a lot more layers to this, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, that Hyperborean shit only gives you so much information. There was no white people here. There was no gold people here. There was no black people with 3 eyes and giants and cyclopses and shit. Hell no, man. Hell no, man. This is fabricated history. That's why you need a brother like me who has the blood of these people in me. That means they done passed down memory cells from thousands and hundreds of thousands of years just so I can receive it and tap in to what my ancestors did. Not allowing these people to lie to me. Not allowing these people to lie to us. Your ancestors, this system is set up for you to have all the information you need to sustain life and to keep growing. Your ancestors passed down memory cells from one grandparent to the grandchild to the next grandchild, all the way and everything in between conglomerates the memory of everything that they went through, accomplishments, shit that has been buried, this global freezing of information. See, when they talk about this whole, let me get back to the bill. When they talk about this whole ice age and everything froze, they're not talking about literally continents. They're talking about your conscience. They froze your conscience and your understanding of who you are. And once it thawed out, it's trickled down. So that means you got a little bit of the information at time until now. That's why they call it the age of information, because all the shit that was frozen is now unthawed and flowing freely. And how do I know it's flowing freely? Because it's a stream. How do I know it's a stream? Because we're literally on a live stream. And this live stream is dedicated for the information. And metaphorically in masonry talk, information is metaphorically connected to water. So somebody say, man, you dropping that water, that's code for information. So if I say that I'm flowing, that means that I have a stream. And it's a metaphor for everything that I'm trying to tell y'all. We're not in the dark ages, we're in the age of information, and the way it's flowing is fluid on the stream, on this live stream. Shout out to everybody in the building. Thumb up the video and support the channel.
Races that once existed in these lands.
These were mixed cultures. The cultures that existed arose from the two ancient god races, the ancient Aboriginals and the ancient Lemurians. There are obviously more layers to this, so I'll try and explain. The original white people that we have in history are of the Aryan or ancient Hyperboreans, who were fair-skinned with red and blonde hair. Their homeland is in ancient Ibernia in the far north. For black people, the most ancient depiction comes from ancient Irish legends, the Fomorians, a great civilization of great stature who had grand occult abilities.
The Fomorians. Shout out to the Fomorians, or the Fomorica, or Fomeria, or Lumeria, or Sumeria. See, these are all the same systems of people that use different things. And when language develops, certain words didn't exist. So they might say Flomeria instead of saying Lumeria. You see what I'm saying? Because the words hadn't even gradually developed yet. They haven't evolved into what we call now. You see what I'm saying? So listen, man, a lot of this information is already embedded in us. Our ancestors made sure of it. You have it. It's called tapping into the memory cells. I've even heard Moors call it taking a ride to Pluto. And taking that ride to Pluto is going to one of the most coldest places in the universe to be able to capture the people and to be able to put this information directly on them. And shout out to everybody in the building. Can we get everybody to drop a fire emoji and share the live stream? Shout out to everybody in the building. Drop a fire emoji, thumb up the video, and support the channel, man. Let me say shout out to my brother, Big Dog Philly OG. Shout out to Big Dog Philly OG for supporting the channel. Shout out to my boy. Man, yeah, listen. Y'all know I'm copywriting everything, man. We laid a blueprint down. Listen, I just want y'all to know, when I first started doing live streams, we only used to do live streams at night. My bad. This is a sidebar. We're going to get back to the information. Y'all know how it goes. We're going to get back to the information. But when I first started doing live streams, y'all, we used to do them at night. Nobody did live streams in the morning. Nobody. Absolutely nobody. So when I took a break from the Aboriginal information for about 5 to 6 months, I came back and I wanted to revamp shit. And I started going live in the morning. And we started creating what we call the Wake and Bake Show, the Grand Rising Show. You see what I'm saying? Where we dedicate the early grand rising. We don't want to project a morning on you, because that's usually a morning deals with something negative. It deals with something sad. The energies is low. When you go and mourn, that means you're sad. And when you at a wake, and we don't want to say wake neither. We don't say, because at a wake, it's a body. It's usually something sad. So we try to turn that into grand rising. You see what I'm saying? When I say wake, we're going to bake. If we're going to wake, we baking. You understand me? It ain't nothing to it. You understand me? But when we start talking about certain words, it projects the energies, and we want to change the energy. I want every grand rising or whatnot, when you get up, I want your energies to be high through the roof. I want somebody to say, damn, you woke up on a good side of the bed, didn't you? because that energy is already being produced. That energy is already being produced. And now y'all absorb it, and then y'all put it out, and then the next motherfuckers get it, and then we just everybody just happy than a motherfucker, building with cohesiveness, building with harmony. When was the last time y'all built with harmony? You understand me? This shit is real. This shit is raw. This shit is authentic, man. That's a fact. That's a fact. And you can't say Aboriginal without putting ab in it. You understand me? This shit is real. This shit is raw. This shit is authentic. And you can't say Aboriginal without putting ab in it. You understand me? So listen, man, that's a fact, man. I want everybody to support the channel, man. Like I said, we changed the game. Now look at how we doing in the morning. I told y'all nobody went live in the morning. Now look at it. We set the tone to what everybody want to go live in the morning now. So now we changes the narrative. It was a lot of beefing going on. Don't get me wrong, I'll be involved because a lot of the niggas be hating and beefing with me. You know what I mean? I understood that. These niggas just look up to me. You see what I'm saying? My brother told me the other day, when the shit was going on in the separation, niggas was mad about me talking about the FBA trying to wake my people up. Somebody told me, it was like, listen, brother, it ain't that they not mad at you. They just think you want to leave them. They think you going to leave them abandoned with this information. I told them, no, I'm not trying to leave nobody abandoned. I'm going to help our other brothers and sisters. I will never leave the community abandoned. So I understand if y'all felt like I was going to leave y'all. Big Ab ain't going nowhere, man. Big Ab been Big Ab since the beginning. You understand me? Shout out to my brother Unconscious One. Shout out to my brother A1. You understand? So, no, we're not doing that. I never turned my back on the Aborigines. Nigga, I'm an Aborigine since forever, nigga. So, nigga, it's encoded, nigga. You don't see my chain, nigga? That's Big Bap, nigga. Both of them, nigga. What you talking about? You understand me? I can't even explain that without giving you the Aboriginal. I can't even tell you what I'm doing and who I am without giving you the Aboriginal. It's now evolved and became second nature to my daily lifestyle. You understand me? Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's continue the live stream. Drop a fire emoji if you can see and hear everything loud and clear. Hey, man, support the channel, man. Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen.
From Donnelly's Atlantis, quote, the Fomorians were from Atlantis. From Donnelly's Atlantis,
quote, the Fomorians were from Atlantis. They were called from Amu-Rica, Amu-Rica, and Fomorag, which has been rendered into English as Fomorians. They possess ships, and the uniform representation is that they came, as the name Amu-Rica indicated, from Africa. But in that day, Africa did not mean the continent of Africa as we now understand it. Major Wilford, in the 8th volume of the Asiatic Researches, has pointed out that Africa comes from Apar, Apara, or Amu-Rica, terms used to signify the West, just as we now speak of the Asiatic world as Amu-Rica, and the unit has been rendered into English as Fomorians. They possess ships, and the uniform representation is that they came, as the name Amu-Rica.
Let me run that back, because he's dropping some motherfucking heat right now. Let me run this back. Shout out to everybody in the building. Pay attention to what he's saying.
We're called from
Amu-Rica, and Fomorag, which has been rendered into English as Fomorians. They possess ships, and the uniform representation is that they came, as the name Amu-Rica indicated, from Africa. But in that day, Africa did not mean the continent of Africa as we now understand it. Major Wilford, in the 8th volume of the Asiatic Researches, has pointed out that Africa comes from Apar, Apara, or Amu-Rica, terms used to signify the West, just as we now speak of the Asiatic world as the East. When, therefore, the Fomorians claimed to come from Africa, they simply meant that they came from the West, in other words, from Atlantis. Now, it is said from these ancient legends that the Fomorians were a warlike race, and that they caused great havoc in the world. These are the times when Atlantis was beginning to fall. War was happening constantly. from Donnelly's Atlantis, quote, "The Irish annals speak of the Fomorians as a warlike race, who, according to the annals of Clon MacNoise, were a sept descended from Ham, the son of Noah, and lived in piracy and spoiled other nations, and were in those days very troublesome to the whole world. Were not these the inhabitants of Atlantis who, according to Plato, carried their arms to Egypt and Athens, and whose subsequent destruction had been attributed to divine vengeance invoked by their arrogance and oppressions?" Quote, "The Fomorians were a civilized race. They had a fleet of 60 ships and a strong army. They were basically ancient sea pirates, and some were giants, up to 12 feet tall. They were one of the first explorers of Ireland before the destruction of Atlantis." Quote, "They possessed Ireland from so early a period that by some of the historians, they are spoken of as the Aborigines of the country. The first invasion to the country was by the Basque people, or the Atlantis settlements in Spain.
You've worked hard. Now you're hurt on the
I'm
job.
glad
Your
you said
paychecks
that.
have stopped and your medical bills are being denied.
If anybody don't know who the Basque people are, now the Basque people moved to places like the Mediterranean. They later on moved to the area where the Minoans is. They also moved to areas that we call French today. And what's significant about the Basque people, right, is that the Basque people spoke a Basque language. And this Basque language is the only language on the world that's connected to Naihuru. Naihuru language is the language that Montezuma, Quetzalcoatl would have spoke. Do you understand that? So I'm just breaking this down to y'all real quick. All right, pay attention.
Army. They were basically ancient sea pirates, a fleet of 60 ships and a strong army. They were basically ancient sea pirates, and some were giants, up to 12 feet tall. They were one of the first explorers of Ireland before the destruction of Atlantis. Quote, "They possessed Ireland from so early a period that by some of the historians, they are spoken of as the Aborigines of the country. The first invasion to the country was by the Basque people, or the Atlantis settlements in Spain. Many of you may think that this is fantasy, but this is common knowledge in mainstream history. How many Black people today in America know that Ireland is an integral part of their history? Not many."
Hey, my brother, I'm sorry, but we don't like to be called Black, but I feel what you're saying. We Aborigines, my brother. So when you mention us, like you just called them brothers Aborigines, please, Mr. Mind Unveiled, we are Aboriginals of America, aka misnomed as Negroes or African Americans, but like we know, Mr. Mind Unveiled, that we're not from Africa. Mr. Mind Unveiled, who did this video, like I know, that majority of Black people that's in America today, quote unquote Black people, are not African. You know this. You see what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Let's turn up.
Or the Atlantis settlements in Spain. Many of you may think that this is fantasy, but this is common knowledge in mainstream history. How many Black people today in America know that Ireland is an integral part of their history? Not many. Quote, "The Fomorians defeated Partholon's people, the Basque from Spain, killed Partholon, and drove the invaders out of the country. The next invader to their dominions was Nimhid. He captured one of their fortifications, but it was retaken by the Fomorians under Mort. Nimhid was driven out of the country, and the Atlanteans continued in undisturbed possession of the island, the Fomorians, for 400 years more. Then came the Firbolgs. They conquered the whole island and divided it into 5 provinces. They held possession of the country for only 37 years, when they were overthrown by the Tuatha De Danann, a people more advanced in civilization."
Listen, know what I'm trying to say? The Tuatha De Danann came from the people that came from Guadana, right? This is when Greenland was totally connected with America. This is also when California was just now floating near America. Okay, this is when California was floating in. See, the Fomorians came in through California. They're not really The stock of America, they come from the land that we call Mu or Lemuria. This is real shit. Or they come from the ancient Pacific Island civilizations. And this is documented. I don't care what term, what name. I don't give a fuck if you don't believe in the name. The fact is, these sciences came from the Pacific Island. You can't deny it. The evidence is overwhelming. You understand me? So when we talk about that, they come from that area that we call California. Queen Khalifa. See, that's a whole nother set of information. We're gonna get in that in another note. I'm gonna get in that in another note. You see what I'm saying? And that's coming from the Pacific Island shit. So when we talking about this war that took place, this is when Greenland was connected with America. Okay, this is when Greenland was connected with America.
The Tuatha were the Hyperboreans. They came from what we call the North. Now, there's even more history that we don't know. This is from the timeline where most knowledge was destroyed. All we are left with is oral legends. We do have authority on this legend as it is quoted in the Book of Ballymote. So what else do we have?
Like, when you get into ancient Sumeria, you're going to get into a place called Alabama. Alabama is ancient Mesopotamia, ancient Sumerian. These people in Alabama would have spoke the language that you see the Sumerians speak. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all don't understand it. I can show y'all the correction. If y'all want evidence or reference, just ask me in the chat, man. Shout out to Aloyda Smith. My bad. Shout out to General Peace. I don't even know what the hell I was looking at. Shout out to General Peace for the Cash App donation. He said appreciate you, AP, for the light. Shout out to my brother General Peace. Say appreciate me for the light and energy, man. Listen, we all bring that light. Together we are the light. Not one person is more important. You understand me? Like I tell y'all, I just want to let y'all know again, y'all are some of the smartest people in the chat. That's why I don't know how a lot of this bullshit be getting through our community, because y'all are very smart. Sometimes y'all just be wanting to be peaceful and respectful and not challenge, but y'all got the right to challenge anything as being part of the community. Y'all are smart ass people in the chat. I ain't gonna lie. I'll be doing a lot of research and y'all be coming up there with it too. Y'all bright. Shout out to y'all. Give yourself a pat on the back, man. Shout out to the American Aborigines in the chat.
North.
Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you can see the screen and enjoying the live stream. You know what I'm saying, man? And if you want to support the channel, Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom of the screen. You understand me? Shout out to everybody. Let's get it.
Now, there's even more history that we don't know. This is from the timeline where most knowledge was destroyed. All we are left with is oral legends.
Yes, Alabama is Alabama. That's the same place. That's Mesopotamia.
We do have authority on this legend as it is quoted in the Book of Ballymote. So what else do we have?
Y'all remember in the book, in the Bible, Mesopotamian history, Sumerian history, the book of Gilgamesh, they talk about the seas turning red, the rivers and turning red. It was a curse. That's called road tide, brother. That's Alabama. That's Alabama, Mesopotamia. That's where the road tides is. That's where the water runs red.
Well, we have legends of ancient Lemuria, the ancestral homeland of Black peoples. In H.P. Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, quote, "There's a period of a few million of years to cover between the first mindless race and the highly intelligent and intellectual later Lemurians." Now, before we continue, let me just say that I don't agree with her timeline or completely concur with her views on the Theosophical Society. According to the story, she obtained this information from an...
Let me say that too. Whatever he just said, let me run that back. I say this for anybody shit I play. I don't agree nor necessarily believe or concur with any of the information that motherfuckers I be playing. Sometimes it be some drop. I add my insert. Y'all know we gotta dodge we gotta bob and weave. We gotta dodge the bullshit. You understand me? We gotta eat the meat and spit out the bones. That's a fact. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I want to say peace and blessings, and I want to say peace and love to everybody tuning in. We got 210 over 200 people in the chat right now. I want to say peace and blessings and nothing but love to everybody in the chat. If y'all can hit that like button, please, for me real quick. If we can get 200 likes, that'll be beautiful. We'll start this live stream right back up. We need to get up to 200 likes in the building. If we can get a couple people to support the channel, that'll be beautiful. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Peace and blessings to everybody, man. Let's get it.
An ancient book that she had access
to that is not exposed to the public. Quote, Madame Blavatsky claimed to have seen a manuscript of the Book of Zion when studying esoteric lore in Tibet. She claimed this and other ancient manuscripts were safeguarded from profane eyes by the initiates of an occult brotherhood. Many of the lands of Lemuria still exist today, such as Australia, New Zealand, Madagascar, and even parts of America such as California. Quote, they, the Lemurians, built huge cities of rare earths and metals. They built out of the fires lava vomited, out of the white stone of the mountains marble, and the black stone of the subterranean fires. They cut their own images in their size and likeness and worshipped them. The Lemurians were a spiritual race of black giants. They were a mix of Mongolian and black and had different organs according to Blavatsky.
No, see, that's where he lying. First of all, Mongolian didn't even exist, bro. So stop your bullshit. No offense. There wasn't no Mongolians. There was not no Mongolians. And we can prove that it wasn't Mongolian through the experience of the peoples of South America who allegedly mixed in with the people from Atlantis that came from the Pacific Islands. First time ever seeing so-called Mongolian or Asian phenotype people. That's documented in the Popol Vuh. That's also mentioned and described again in Incan and Mayan texts called the Bomopac Miros. And you also see them in the Mendoza Codex, illustrating these foreigners. They never seen them before. It's documented. The first time Aboriginal or some Asian invaders came into Aboriginal territory was documented as the Aztec. The Aztec was the first invaders here. So no, maybe you're picking up on history after that. None of the artifacts, anthropology agrees with no Mongoloids being here or in the Pacific Islands that at that time, man. I just want to say that. I'm sorry.
Blavatsky.
It is said that they had a physical eye on the back of their head, and that this degenerated into the now called third eye, and that they were the grand magicians of the elements. Quote, this is the reason why perhaps even Easter Island with its wondrous gigantic statues, a speaking witness to a submerged continent with a civilized mankind on it. This is why many Aborigines from the lands around the Pacific Ring of Fire are of a dark complexion. The pure blood of black peoples come from this ancestral homeland of Lemuria. The remnants of this land is in California. The old maps show California as an island because Mu went through many stages and began to merge with the mainland of terra firma as parts of the western coast began to sink.
So last year I paid nothing for electricity.
That's crazy that they showed you California. That map is pretty dope that he showed you right there on the screen. That's dope right there. That map is dope because I have a map that matches this also by another illustrator. Let's show that map on the screen. So both of these maps concur with one another, and these are authentic maps. All right. Now look at this. California is not connected with the rest of America, and it's also illustrated on this map as well. So let's continue the live stream, you guys. Hit that like button. Support the channel, man. I need y'all to support the channel, man. Thumb up the video and support the channel.
The remnants of this land is in California.
The old maps show California as an island because Mu went through many stages and began to merge with the mainland of terra firma as parts of the western coast began to sink. In the occult tradition, root races are basically different versions of the human body in connection with different ages. The first root race was said to be completely ethereal. The second root race had more physical bodies and spawned in Hyperborea. The third root race, the form that we now truly recognize as human, existed on the lost continent of Lemuria. And the fourth root race developed into Atlantis. According to the occult tradition, this isn't all done.
See, this is coming from some people that don't know how to explain shit. You see, these niggas that don't know how to explain shit, they trying to explain you being here before time, before matter even formed. So they're talking about you on this ether, at the ether stage. They don't even know what that is, but I'm gonna give it to you raw. He explaining the ether stage and how your manifestation created what we call the Big Bang. And that Big Bang is what gave form to the physical world, the new world, the physical world, the real world. Do you understand that? And once you understand that, you will understand that the first people to walk on that planet will be Asiatics. Because this is, and you got to look up the word Asiatic through the definition, through the thesaurus. Not your regular definition. Look up the thesaurus of what the word Asiatic means. You're going to see another word in spelling. You're going to see it spelled ASSY something else, right? You ain't gonna see it the normal spelling. And what that other spelling mean, if I'm not mistaken, it means material world. Material world means physical, means where atoms is obeying by another law. You see, your body is made up of atoms, according to science. And these atoms create molecules, and these molecules come together creating what we call matter. They operating off a different law. And as this body is formed, as we are in the what we are now, we operate off a different law. So within our body, within our aura, within our own space, we create our own atmosphere. It's obeying by different laws. I'm just breaking this shit down, y'all. Some science.
Simply by sexual reproduction. The first root race, the Polarians, from the center pole of our realm, were completely androgynous beings. This esoteric lore is prevalent through the Hellenes as we hear this from Plato. They had the process of asexual reproduction. This changes as it is said that races can manifest into this reality without budding, but through some type of coming down from above or spirit spawning process. As these races developed from spirit and continued their progress through the ages, everything is being recorded into the Akashic records. This affects the next races to come in the coming ages. There were many colonies of Atlantis. We know of one colony today, such as the Olmecs, was a place where many cultures came and traded. These are the Atlantis.
So listen, the Olmec people is what the Europeans call them. But when you look at that language, right, the XI, you see it everywhere. You see the XI everywhere, right? And in the Nahuatl language, right, that X symbol and that I symbol makes a key symbol. It's a key. It's like saying key. It's a sound. It's a vibration. That X is the key people. Most mistranslated as the she people. People mispronounce it as the she is because the Asian people pronounce it as she. But it's actually the key people. We're not she. We're the key people. Yeah, it's really key. It don't make the she sound. When you go look at Nahuatl and you hear them speaking Nahuatl and you hear them go through the XI, it's always key. That's why you get Kukaki, Kukakan. That's the XI in the Nahuatl language. I'm just breaking some shit down. When you hear it later on explained with the Basque people, it'll give it them full understanding. All right. Shout out to everybody in the building.
Races. And I'm not 100% sure how the first two are pronounced, but we have number 1, the Romahal. Number 2, the Tlavati. Number 3, Toltec. 4, First Turanian. 5, Original Semite. 6, Akkadian. 7, Mongolian. Quote, thus the first Atlantean races born on the Lemurian continent separated from their earliest tribes into the righteous and the unrighteous, into those who worship the one unseen spirit of nature, the ray of which man feels within himself, or the pantheists, and those who offered fanatical worship to the spirits of the earth, the dark cosmic, anthropomorphic powers, Saturn, with whom they made alliance. It is important to remember that sometimes races did overlap and change both in time frames lived or remnants of them survived in the areas occupied. It should also be remembered that in some cases, a catastrophe was anticipated by the priest more in tune with higher energies, and many migrations into lands currently in existence took place before all of Atlantis was submerged. There was intermarrying not only among the subraces of Atlantis, but also with the remains of Lemurian subraces who had escaped before the fiery end of Lemuria. The first subrace, quote, "The Romahals were a dark race, their complexion being a sort of mahogany black. Their height in these early days..."
They said mahogany black. See, now they describing directly your skin tone. Mahogany is a reddish wood. That's a copper color. When you go look at copper color, one of the synonyms for copper colored is mahogany. That's funny, ain't it? You see how they they play around with the words?
This was about 10 or 12 feet. Truly a race of giants. The Romahals were a dark race, their complexion
being a sort of mahogany black. Their height in these early days was about 10 or 12 feet. Truly a race of giants. But through the centuries, their stature gradually dwindled, as did that of all races in turn, and later on we shall find that they had shrunk to the stature of a fur-fused man. They ultimately migrated to the southern shores of Atlantis, where they were engaged in constant warfare with the 6th and 7th subraces of the Lemurians then inhabiting that country. A large part of the tribe eventually moved north, while the remainder settled down and intermarried with these black Lemurian aborigines.
Yeah, when you think of a red man, nigga, think of Red Man. That's why he got that nickname, because of his complexion. Red Man, the rapper from, that was cool, that had all them songs from Jersey, the old school. Red Man. You look at his complexion. That's what they're describing. Fact.
The second subrace, the Tlavatli, originated on an island off the west coast of Atlantis. They were a strong race, not as tall as the Romahal, with reddish-brown skin. They were a
There they go again, confuse you. They're talking about the same people that had the same science. Now they're showing you shit from America. And this depiction is Cuckoo Khan. And this depiction right here, I'll break this story down to you, but this is the story that they get Jesus Christ, man, crucifixed on. I know it sounds crazy, but this image that you see right here at the top with this man carrying the cross up the hill, this is a crucifixion. He dies in this story, giving his life so his people could have forever lasting wisdom. This is the story of Jesus Christ right here at the top. And I'll break that down to y'all later on another note. Yeah, Quetzalcoatl is Jesus. That's funny you said that, is right, Polite. That's the same story. And y'all don't even know it. Look at the symmetry. He's holding the cross on his back. And if you look at the Wattle language, it talks about him going up on a fort, up on a platform, a mound, if you will. That's the oldest image of a cross, of a man on a cross right there. I'm just giving y'all some game. I don't want to give y'all too much, but we're here for it.
Mountain-loving people who, along with
the third subrace, the Toltecs, inhabited the western island, which formed part of what is now known as the American continent.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does the serpent talk?
We here for
but not only that, why is the serpent?
We here for all the drop. You know what I'm saying? We're here for all the drop. All the information you can provide for us, we here for. I'm just here to insert and add in what I know to be true. This is what I've known to be true. I'm going to do a whole build on this, man. I'm going to do a whole build on this. Y'all want that? I'm going to give y'all that. If y'all really want that, y'all going to have to support the channel. Thumb up the video, and man, let's get 225 likes. That means y'all really feeling the build. Shout out to the brother who wanted to stay anonymous, sent in a Cash App donation, supporting the $2, $5 challenge. Shout out to the brother who sent in this just now sent in a Cash App donation, wanting to stay anonymous. So shout out to you, man. If y'all want to support the channel, stay anonymous, that's cool. But listen, if y'all want to support the channel, Cash App and PayPal information is at the bottom of the screen. Now listen, y'all, this image that y'all see right here at the top, right here, that y'all see right here at the top of the screen. This is the story of Jesus Christ. This is where they get that from. Facts. That's a fact. It ain't even nothing else to talk about. I can prove that. We got the story. We got the codexes. Our ancestors was, if you go look up anything about Maya, Inca, Olmec people, well, not Olmec per se, that these were some of the most sophisticated record keepers. But yet you can't find majority of the records.
Strong race, not as tall as the Romaha, with reddish-brown skin. They were a mountain-loving people who, along with the third subrace, the Toltecs, inhabited the western islands which formed part of what is now known as the American continent. The Toltecs, the third subrace, stood about 8 feet tall and had reddish-brown skin, like the Tlavatli, but more copper-colored. The features of the Toltecs, according to William Scott Elliott, were straight and well-marked, not unlike the ancient Greeks. The Toltecs ruled the entire continent.
Now listen, the Toltecs was the same nigga. They just the OGs. They the granddaddies of niggas. They like the older tribesmen. You see what I'm saying? Live by older rules and shit. And I'm gonna give y'all an image of a Toltec right now. The one on the right of the screen is a Toltec. Okay, that's a Toltec. That's a Toltec on the right of the screen. That's just the OGs. These just the old niggas. They, you know what I'm saying? You know how they held them olds, the predecessors to some shit. You feel what I'm saying? These was the niggas who lived by the old codes. You know how you got these young niggas running around, they drill music, but then you had niggas like Bumpy Johnson who would have been listening to some fucking Anita Baker on the way to go fuck a nigga up. It's different vibes. They went by a different code. You understand me? These are the same people. That's the Toltec on the right. All right? They're not Mexicans.
Race stood about 8 feet tall and had reddish-brown skin, like the Tlavatli, but more copper-colored. The features of the Toltecs, according to William Scott Elliott, were straight and well-marked, not unlike the ancient Greeks. The Toltecs ruled the entire continent of Atlantis peacefully for thousands of years. The Turanians, the fourth subrace, originated on the
Now look at this. I want y'all to look at this.
eastern side of the continent.
That style of the motherfucking building that I'm about to show you on the screen, this right here, that's Olmec style of building. That's a fact. And the Olmecs, you see them right here on the left. Olmec on the left, Toltec on the right. Same people, same signs. Shout out to my sister TT Portier for the Cash App donation. Shout out to my sister TT Portier for the Cash App donation. We appreciate all the support. Shout out to my sister, man. Hey, man, let's continue the live, man. Drop them fire emojis. Let's get up to 225 likes in the building, man. Let's go, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. If y'all can see and hear everything loud and clear, drop a fire emoji.
They were yellow-skinned humans who were never a dominant race on the mother continent, though some of their tribes and family races became fairly powerful. The fifth subrace were the Semites, who had their home on the northeastern part of a peninsula which is now Scotland and Ireland. They were a disconnected race, always warring with their neighbors and maintaining their independence from the southern kings. The sixth subrace, the Acadians, came into existence after the first great disaster. Born on a peninsula further south of the Semites, the Acadians quickly migrated to the much larger continent of Atlantis. They fought and overcame the original Semites, ruling Atlantis for several hundred years. The Mongolians, the seventh subrace, had no touch with the mother continent. They were developed from the descendants of the Turanians. They spread over what is now Asia. Master Kut Humi and the Mahatma letters wrote that the modern Oriental races such as the Chinese, Mongolian, Tibetan, Malaysian, Indonesian, Japanese, Vietnamese, and so on are largely descended from the seventh and final subrace of the Atlantean root race. Quote, the Lemuro-Atlanteans built cities and spread civilization, the incipient stage of anthropomorphism. Their statues witness the size.
Cities don't this look like the same shit? This Chicago. They showing you Chicago, man. The World's Fair, Chicago, before it was the World's Fair. That's Chicago, man. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. That's Chicago. I'm giving y'all the drop, man. They're lying. We caught them in their lie. Now we putting the shit together. Man. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. This is the Wake and Bake Show, man. Let me know what y'all smoking on and where y'all at this Grand Rising. What city and what state are y'all in, man? And what y'all smoking on? Let's continue to live, man. So support the channel, man. I also want to shout out a couple people that did support. Shout out to Anthony Pickens Jr. for the cash out donation, and shout out to Jeffrey Jennings. Shout out to Jeffrey Jennings and Anthony Pickens Jr., man. I appreciate the support, man. Make sure y'all show some love in the chat. Shout out to Jeffrey Jennings in the chat, man. Shout out to my nigga Anthony Pickens Jr. in the chat, man. Make sure y'all show some love, man. We appreciate all the support over here, man. Make sure y'all support the channel, y'all. If you ain't did it yet, make sure y'all support. It's still time. I know y'all enjoying the bill. You understand me? Shout out to all the American Aborigines, man. It's a beautiful time, man. It's a beautiful time. Shout out to Sister Betty in the chat, man. Sister Betty, a real Aborigine, man. Shout out. Facts.
Of the Lemurio Atlanteans.
Lemuria destroyed by fire, Atlantis by water, the flood, the destruction of the fourth race, and of the last antediluvian monster animals. By monster animals, there were many creatures that used to exist that were truly evil. We hear stories of this in every culture around the world, or in some type of flood myth, and great mythical creatures that would terrorize the city. After each age, the continents change quite drastically. Continents sink and rise. Comets come and do impossible movements in the sky, unexplainable by modern science, and causes cataclysms and destruction by fire. The myths say that the gods were to blame, as they washed over and judged us as we passed through the ages. We must understand that the continents shifted quite drastically within the last 1,000 years, as it explains the supposed cartographic errors of the maps from the 16th and 17th century. Notice that most of our maps stop around the 1400s, and this.
Now I want y'all to pay very close attention to what he's breaking down right now. This is key.
Sink and rise. Comets come and do impossible movements in the sky, unexplainable by modern science, and causes cataclysms and destruction by fire. The myths say that the gods were to blame, as they washed over and judged us as we passed through the ages. We must understand that the continents shifted quite drastically within the last 1,000 years, as it explains the supposed cartographic errors of the maps from the 16th and 17th century. Notice that most of our maps stop around the 1400s, and this date may even be made up from most of these documents. These new rulers, who were planning to conquer and create a new world, who came from the Phoenician subrace, were masters of the sea and became the world's first global corporation. They became the hidden hand behind all the global master elite. They conquered Spain as the Castiles, manifesting as the Catholic Jesuits.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They conquered and start acting like these people. These are the Phoenicians. The Phoenicians is the East Indian, the West Indian Dutch company. They are the Rothschilds, the J.P. Morgansons, the DuPonts, the Bidens, the Freemen. This is who they talking about. Told you that shit gonna tap in.
They conquered Spain as the Castiles, manifesting as the Catholic Jesuits, then becoming the Venetians, the hidden hand beneath all public education and science, teaching a new cosmology of Saturn worship. This group worshipped the sun, but we have more than one sun, and they shift. In this interpretation, our neighboring planets are suns. This is basically a cult.
That's when they started praying to the black sun, or what science now call the brown sun that orbits our planet. See, they see, this is ancient cosmology. Our ancestors was masters at studying what was going on and how it affect us. Why you think they had whole buildings set up that they call observatories? They had observatories in Montana, Nebraska. Guess where the world's observatories is today? Take a guess. Where is United States main? I'm not even gonna give y'all that game. I'll give y'all that on another note, man. Y'all got the pay-per-view coming up real soon. Hey, if y'all want to support the channel, y'all know the pay-per-view American Gods this Sunday, August the 7th. Going down, me and Atanchin is one. Jaguar Omek, and we also have a special guest coming on with us. So make sure y'all support that. If y'all want to get the pay-per-view, link in the description. Information is in the description right now. So make sure y'all go do that, man. Support that. Make sure y'all send in y'all email. I'm gonna give y'all that, but it's all the information you need is all in the description. Don't forget to read. Make sure y'all support, man. The pay-per-view is going down this Saturday, August 7th.
Knowledge explained in a modern way.
But basically, one of these cataclysms that led to the destruction of the great Church of Ayesa, the destruction of all great Moorish civilizations, and the remaining empires in the world, done through some type of ritual of Baal, in which Saturn could be summoned into this physical world. The Phoenicians worshipped Baal in a way that we could never imagine. A good reference is The Adventures of Captain Mago, a Phoenician expedition 1000 BC, if you want to understand their want for control. Now, this is written from our modern timeline perspective, but what needs to be said is that these elites changed the calendar system and their own age, they added 1,000 years. So imagine that the fall of Rome is pushed forward 1,000 years on our mainstream timeline. You can trace Freemasonry back to this Phoenician cult. The Phoenicians belonged to the Aryan root race, so originally they were very renowned people. However, they fell to materialism in their quest to dominate the world market. What happened was there were still more powerful empires in the world that posed a threat to the Phoenicians. Many really, the Moors, the Tartarians, the Ottoman Empire, and the Church of Ayesa, also known as the Druids, the original Hebrews. They needed to destroy the rest of the Aryans if they wanted to rule the next coming age. Which, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned, but they don't all die. It is said that the Atlanteans still exist. Same for the Hyperboreans, for they do not age. So that may just be part of it, is that the Phoenicians got access to this ancient knowledge of esoteric wisdom, and they took advantage of it.
This game,
You're
not ready for it.
These commercials killing me, gang. Commercials killing me, man. These commercials are killing me. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Make sure y'all thumb up the video, support the channel, man. Shout out to all the American Aborigines. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. We're going to continue to live stream for a little bit, man. Let's get it. Cash App and PayPal information at the bottom.
Don't know
if I mentioned, but they don't all
die. It is said that the Atlanteans still exist. Same for the Hyperboreans, for they do not age. So that may just be part of it, is that the Phoenicians got access to this ancient knowledge of esoteric wisdom, and they took advantage of it. They prepared devices for surviving underwater, hence the symbolism of the mermaid prevalent in their culture and the worship of the conch. Either way, they survived this event and immediately began educating and creating the new world. Historical figures were made up completely. All the knowledge that we have is from the main school in Venice, from the Phoenicians who became the Venetians. These Jesuits then conquered through Spain and Britain. This version of Spanish is the Jesuit Spanish tongue, Castilian Spanish. The Royal Castile family is a branch of the Phoenician chain, as you can see with the royal arms. Just look at the royal arms of all these families and you will clearly see who's in charge. They took old kings and renamed them and gave them new dates. The Library of Alexandria, containing the knowledge of all ages before, was burned. This group sought out the remaining knowledge in the world through the Knights Templar, burning the sacred esoteric knowledge of all the nations. In Plato's Timaeus, Solon, a Hellene, goes to one of the colonies in Egypt known as Sais. Based on its description, Plato presents the priest to be a darker complexion. These people are not exactly the purebloods from Lemuria, but a mixed race with multiple shades from dark brown to light brown, with slight variations of hue, mostly red, said to be descended from the Tolmecs. There may have been some who had the strong blood from the Lemurian race with a dark black with bluish reflection, but they are not from these lands. We will soon see that there are many different races of people who lived in these lands. From Plato's Timaeus, quote, "Thereupon one of the priests, who was of very great age, said, 'O Solon, Solon, you Hellenes are never anything but children, and there is not an old man among you.' Solon in return asked him what he meant. 'I mean to say,' he replied, 'that in mine you are all young. There is no old opinion handed down among you by ancient tradition, nor any science which is hoary with age. And I will tell you why. There have been, and will be again, many destructions of mankind arising out of many causes. The greatest have been brought about by the agencies of fire and water, and other lesser ones by innumerable other causes. There is a story, which even you preserve, that one upon a time, Hatheon, the son of Helios, have yoked the steeds in his father's chariot, because he was not able to drive them in the path of his father, burnt up all that was upon the earth, and was himself destroyed by a thunderbolt. Now this has the form of a myth, but really signifies a declination of the bodies moving in the heavens around the earth, and a great configuration of things upon the earth, which recurs after long intervals. At such times, those who live upon the mountains and in the dry and lofty places are more liable to destruction than those who dwell by rivers or on the seashore. Now, for some context here, Basically, Solon took a trip to Sais and Egypt, and when Solon arrived, they greeted him with great honor. It seems that he wanted to share his knowledge, Solon, as if he was slightly boasting about his esoteric wisdom.
Solon, if you don't know the story of Solon, Solon is the guy who allegedly had all this knowledge, but he didn't acquire this knowledge. He's leaving out that brothers from Texas, the ancient people from Texas, right? And the governor who was running Texas went out there. They call him Thoth. Thoth went to Egypt and told him about this great city, which is Atlantis, the great country that they call Atlantis, and gave him all this esoteric knowledge and science that was used to build or to help build Egypt, or that Egypt was built off of. He was telling them how the first dynasties came about, that was his ancestors and all this shit. This is what Thoth was telling. Thoth also was the guy that you see. Well, we'll get into it later on. Just know it came from Thoth. All right. We're going to drop that science later on. Hit that like button, thumb up the video, man.
Wisdom that he had recently learned.
The priest is responding and telling him about a race of people who not only he didn't know about, but were a common ancestor of the two. Also, in terms of timeline and Plato, this could be ancient information or different books from the authors from the last age, compiled into one author, created by, you guessed it, the new rulers, Jesuit Venetians. I still think many of these books contain golden nuggets that they have left for those who seek wisdom. The only thing is, remember, they are trying to date this as if this process took 8,000 years. They adjusted the age in the translation based on the new knowledge at the time that this was translated.
Facts.
This is also where Blavatsky bases a lot of her.
So listen, all the world's history, from everything that you know, the Pompeii, Jesus Christ, goddamn Noah and Adam and Eve, all that is documented history that was formulated to try to make up this timeline, but not knowing. I'm gonna give y'all the game. All the history that you know, all came after the 1500s, all came after the 1400s. You don't have any documentation because they're not releasing it on anything before the 1400s. If they were to release that information, that's why I'm giving you the game. It will blow your mind. It changes the game. It doesn't go with the narrative that mainstream science has put out. To understand that your ancestors already had government roles, buildings, science, and schools here before the 1400s, and that they were so advanced in technological feats that y'all wouldn't even believe it. It would change the narrative that us being primitive and us starting from a monkey to a man. This shit got me so mad, I'm about to do reverse Darwinism. I'm about to go ape shit. I'm about to go ape. Because this is some bullshit. Nigga, I'm about to go reverse Darwin. Nigga, I'm about to go ape. Because this is some bullshit.
For history, including Tibetan and Hindu philosophies. So you can see how these made-up figures of the church could have influenced both science and occult circles. We continue, quote, "As for those genealogies of yours which you just now recounted to us, Solon, they are no better than tales of children. In the first place, you remember a single deluge only, but there were many previous ones. In the next place, you do not know that there formerly dwelt in your land the fairest and noble race of men which ever lived, and that you and your whole city are descended from a small seed or remnant of them which survived. And this was unknown to you."
I didn't even catch that bar. I said reverse Darwinism. I'm about to go ape. You know, Darwinism, you went from an ape to a man. Well, this man about to go ape. Man, that's a bar, man. You don't even get it.
Because for many generations, the survivors of that destruction died, leaving no written word. For there was a time so long before the great deluge of all, and the city, which now is Athens, was first and war in every way the best governed of all cities. It is said to have performed the noblest deeds and to have had the fairest constitution of any which tradition tells under the face of heaven. Solon marveled at his words, and earnestly requested the priest to inform him exactly in order about these former citizens. "You're welcome to hear about them, Solon," said the priest, "both for your own sake and for that of your own city, and above all, for the sake of the goddess who is the common patron and parent and educator of both our cities. She founded your city 1,000 years before ours, receiving from the earth and Hephaestus the seed of your race, and afterwards she founded ours, of which the constitution is recorded in our sacred registers to be 8,000 years old." Now, in Donnelly's Atlantis, quote, "What proof do we have that the Egyptians were a colony from Atlantis? 1. They claim descent from the 12 great gods, which must have meant the 12 gods of Atlantis."
I have more than enough proof to show you that. How do I know that? How do I know that? Because the Masons tell me about it. I just showed y'all last week in American in the ancient, let me see what the name of this book is. I still got it put up. In the ancient mystic Oriental Masonry Bible, it states that American, the land of the original eagle constellation, went to the plan that we call Egypt and established science. We can also go to Antongo A. Bongo book, Ancient Egyptian Civilization. Is going to tell you how everything came from America, all the way down to the dogs and the fucking vegetables, man. That's a fact. Real science here, man.
To wit, Poseidon and Plato and their 10 sons.
2. According to the traditions of the Phoenicians, the Egyptians derived their civilization from them. And as the Egyptians far antedated the rise of the Phoenician nations proper, this must have meant that the Egypt derived its civilization.
We're gonna slow this nigga down a little bit. He reading too fast. Let me shout out to Natasha Nama. Shout out to Empress Nama for supporting the $1 challenge on replay game today. Shout out to my sister Empress Nama. Shout out to my boy Von Moore. He said, peace to the tribes and family. We on the moving train. Shout out to my boy Von Moore. He said, we are on a moving train. All right. Shout out to Natasha again. Shout out to everybody supporting the channel. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. I know y'all like, damn, man. Hey, there's some heat. There's some heat. Make sure y'all support the channel, man. Y'all don't get out of here without supporting that thing, man. Link to the Cash App and PayPal information is at the bottom of the screen, ticking across, man. Let's continue. This nigga read fast.
Sons. 2.
According to the traditions of the Phoenicians, the Egyptians derived their civilization from them. And as the Egyptians far antedated the rise of the Phoenician nations proper, this must have meant that the Egypt derived its civilization from the same country to which the Phoenicians owed their own origin. The Phoenician legends show that Mysore, from whom the Egyptians were descended, was the child of the Phoenician gods Amnius and Magus. Mysore gave birth to Tuat, the god of letters, the inventor of the alphabet, and Tuat became Thoth, the god of history of the Egyptians. Sanchoniathon tells us that the Kronos, king of Atlantis, visited the south and gave all of Egypt to the god Tuat, that it might be his kingdom. Mysore is probably the king Messer named by Plato. It was common knowledge throughout the 19th century that the Phoenicians were the predecessors to the Egyptians. This has now since changed in academic circles, as they tend to try to hide this Phoenician group as much as possible. The reason being is because the Phoenicians is a cover name for a group of people who descended from the great Hyperboreans and established a priesthood in many of these lands after the flood. We know this in history as the Celtic race. However, the connection between the Celtics and Phoenicians is not discussed in modern academic circles. Therein lies the problem. The Phoenicians, or Phoenicians, were once a great race. This is the mother priesthood called the Church of Iessa, that the priest Antimaeus is.
The Phoenicians was never a great race like that. All they did was took and copied nigga shit. They did what Corey Mayo do. He'll watch you, steal your information, and then they'll put it out as if they're the originators of it. That's all the Phoenicians did. Seriously. He might be a descendant of. Seriously. It might just be encoded in his DNA to do the shit. Seriously. I'm just giving y'all game, man. I ain't trying to throw no hate, man. Peace and love to everybody.
It's disgusting.
They came and instructed many of the races after the flood, reestablishing the common traits of civilization. The myths of white red-haired giant mummies are common from around the world. These people were hunted by this new group of rulers as well, for they wanted to destroy the pure bloodline of all races so that they could be the only race of God, creating a new bloodline. This group took over the original priesthood of Iessa, labeled them pagans, stole their history, and enslaved humanity and all other races. They took over the Bible and began teaching.
Arcadian Empire. Now listen, this Arcadian Empire was not where you think it is, man. The Arcadian Empire is in Canada. Canada, that's Canadian. This is ancient Canadian Empire, man.
This group took over the original priesthood of Isa, labeled them pagans, stole their history, and enslaved humanity and all other races. They took over the Bible and began teaching that God can only be reached.
We can't go by without looking at the structures that they saying was around goddamn all these thousands of years ago. They're like the same shit that was around in the World's Fair. Look at this building. Look at this shit. Destroyed. Look like 1865. All this story that they tell you literally might be the story of 1865, man. This might be the Civil War story that they explaining as the ancient Canadian or Acadian Empire War. Y'all got to do the, man, listen, these people been trying to jumbleize and they try to memorialize and stretch out the history. This shit recent, man. This shit recent. This shit recent than a motherfucker, man. They can't fool me.
In all the races. They took over the Bible and began teaching that God can only be reached through the Church of Jesus, when that the old teachings were never about belief and authority, but in a beautiful mythos that connected divinity and man as one, as a moral respect for nature, a duty for taking care of all life and spreading peace through a divine cosmology of self, one that had been passed down for generations through studying the stars carefully and aligning them to attributes of ego and self. This is how astrology, or astrotheology, was passed back into the world after the flood of Atlantis. These Jesuits and the Church of Rome, who really belonged to the Akkadian subrace, not the original Semites, or in other words, Celts, these Akkadians caused war and destruction among the rest of the Aryan nations, specifically starting with the original Semites, and this is where the Phoenicians come in. They then merged all of this history into one history under the discreet and secret name Phoenicians, which really refers to multiple peoples, and they did this through taking over Rome and then the rest of the world. Quote, "The Great Pyramid in its original and dazzling splendor of light under the Egyptian sun was the object and wonderment and awe to all beholders. It surpassed in sublime grandeur any other monument or structure ever erected by man on this globe. It was considered the greatest of the 7 wonders in the ancient world. Its partial destruction and defacement by removing its upper part and capstone, and by stripping it of the outer casing of white stone, which gave it an aspect of dazzling brightness, leaving it in outward appearance bare and nude, silent and mute as to its mission, as a milestone without a figure. This has been a great loss to mankind. In its former glory, it was a mountain of light, a blaze of brightness, a symbol in the desert. It was a testimonial and living stone, bespeaking to mankind of their inheritance of a spiritual kingdom. At noonday, its lofty golden capstone seemed to be at one with the sun, uniting earth and heaven in eternal unity, a symbolic union of spirit and matter. To mar this sublime pillar, this grand masterpiece of the Irish Magian priest of Isa."
Look at these fucking buildings, man. Look at this shit. It's in the 1600s, man. But they just constructed all these buildings allegedly during the World's Fair, man. These people be out they fucking rabbit ass mind. Excuse my French. Excuse my French. But these people have me livid, man. I be pissed off to be catching these people lives. They've been just jumbling around our information like it's scrambled. Seriously.
Was a part of a plot as selfish as any ever conceived. Now another example is Baalbek. That temple was not originally created for Baal, but it is known as that because the Phoenicians took over this land and dedicated ancient Aryan temples to Saturn worship.
I told y'all the Phoenicians been stealing. The reason they try to say Phoenicians got one of the first languages because they stole some shit. They've been copying and stole the language and act like they did it on the different hemisphere. The Phoenicians are the first motherfucking copycat stealers, man. The Phoenicians is the fake Italians. They're the fake Sicilians. They're the fake Spanish. They're the fake Dutch. This is who you see. These are Phoenicians.
The original Semites are also known as the Druids or the Irish Magian priests. Now in history, they are known to be the original Druids, the descendants of the Hyperboreans. They reestablished high culture after the flood and were known as fair-skinned with red and blonde hair. Now, that doesn't mean there weren't any black people who belonged to this church. There very may well have, as we know now the true history of Ireland, as Fomorians were the original Aborigines before taken over by the...
Listen, that's what I'm saying. The original people of Ireland are the Fomorians. The Fomorians traveled there after their city of Mu, Atlantis, this great empire in the Pacific was destroyed in the deluge. They migrated through Finland, creating what we call Finland and Greenland, right? Creating the Scottish, creating what we call the indigenous Aborigines of Ireland. All these people already had the science because they was brought there by the people who was already in Mu, man.
Interracial relationship had already begun, as we can see in the story of Timaeus with the Egyptian priest, and many other myths from around the world such as the Aztecs and China. We even have stories of the Queen of Scotia. Quote, the story of Scotia begins
my motherfucking computer froze up. I don't know what the fuck going on, man. Seriously. I don't know what the fuck is going on. This shit totally cut my computer off, man. Damn. Had to get on for my motherfucking phone. Mad than a bitch right now. Shit. Gotta run a diagnose on this bitch. Now that shit just pissed me off. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. We back, man. My computer fucking shut the fuck off. Shit froze up, man. Could y'all even hear the last little bit of shit? I guess I'll drop the link in the chat. I'll finish the rest of this build tomorrow, man. I'll give y'all the introduction to that, the rest of that, and before I start the new build tomorrow. So make sure y'all support the channel, man. I'm gonna drop the link in the chat. That shit just teed me off. That shit really teed me off. Shout out to the American Aborigines. Don't worry about it, man. It was a good build, man. Hopefully y'all enjoy what y'all got to see. I will finish the rest of it up for y'all tomorrow. I will tap in. So listen, man, I need y'all to support the channel. I need y'all to thumb up the video. The link is in the chat too, by the way. The link is in the chat. The link is in the chat, man. I'm gonna give y'all a few seconds to hit the link, man. Go on, hit the link. Come on. Continue y'all conversation. Let's want to get some feedback, man. So I'm gonna take a quick 60-second break. We'll be right back. Make sure y'all hit that like button, thumb up the video, and support the channel, man. Cash App and PayPal information is at the bottom of the screen. Y'all don't go nowhere, man. We just getting cracking. It's the open panel time.
See, my life has been in motion. I'm a little windy. I'm not giving up yet. If you with me, time to place up your bet. Ain't no turning back, got niggas who ran. When we caught his ass, got caught in that jam. Yeah, you know who I am. Yeah, you know who I am. I can feel it coming. I can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. It's that feeling in your stomach, you can feel it coming. Yeah, you can feel it coming. Fake love, that snake you in your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it. Too much fake love, that snake you in your face, love. Your face, love. That snake you in your face, love. I told my brothers we gon' make it, that's how God wrote it. And the snake gon' show his face, cause that's how God wrote it.
Shout out to everybody, man. The link is in the chat. Guess nobody want to hit the link today. Man, shout out to all the American Aborigines, man. Make sure y'all thumb up the video. Hopefully y'all enjoy that. My computer froze. having technical difficulties. I apologize for that once again. We will resume the rest of the video tomorrow. So since ain't nobody hit the link, we gonna get ready to get out of here. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. Salute to everybody in the building. Shout out to the 245 we got in the chat. Make sure y'all thumb up the video and support the channel, man. I'm going to drop the link one more time just in case. I believe that's the correct link. So I'm going to drop the link one more time. And if nobody hit it before we get out of here, man, we out of here. That's it. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. So hopefully somebody hit the link before the end stream outro end. Let's go.
Suave on the track.
Whatever it takes. The alleyway.
Coco, this your season right now.
They won't see me. They won't let me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I put attention, all in my blood, all in my veins. They started with perky, now that hair run up his veins. You started with serving, now them drugs drove you insane. Started with dealing, I grew up with killers, they taught me the game. I got some niggas that die behind, and that shit won't never the same. I know some niggas that lie behind, and that bullet had his name. Ain't no reason to cry about, cause that shit won't never change. MTF the 4th and P, my niggas can't get out the game. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I won't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah. I gotta sleep with one eye open, tripping, making me nervous. I take a piss, my hand on the strap. I know the odds wanna murder. I got a feeling, keep my stomach paranoid, yeah. I can't let them, yeah. They won't see me, yeah.
Lost, see, I glossed to it, shit ain't been the same. Heard the ops talking to the
Yo. Oh, yeah, I want to say this before we go, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. For those that was anticipating the pay-per-view for yesterday, the pay-per-view will be resuming. It is going down this up-and-coming Sunday, August the 7th. If y'all want to purchase the pay-per-view, all the information is in the description of the video right now. Make sure y'all support the channel. It's in the description box. Make sure y'all go get that information, support the pay-per-view, man. I want to see all y'all in the pay-per-view. I want to see all y'all in here, man. Shout out to the brothers that's coming through. They're taking their time out for the last couple of weeks to put this pay-per-view together, man. Shout out to Tonchin is one, Jaguar, Omac, and y'all will see the special guest and myself on that particular pay-per-view as well. So make sure y'all support that. All the information you need is in the description box. With that being said, we out of here. Peace and love to all American Aborigines. Make sure y'all be aware. Make sure y'all be vigilant. And make sure y'all stay dangerous. It's your brother Aboriginal Power. And we out. Peace.